The small southern city of Picayune, Mississippi, has experienced continual growth and prosperity under the stewardship of various administrations since becoming a city in 1922. Current Mayor Jim Luke has explored this journey in his book, Gateway to Picayune's Prosperity. In the book, it is recognized that this vision of prosperity originated with the city's first mayor, E.F. Tate, and was embodied in the sturdy architecture of his home, Tate Mansion. This video is devoted to the role of Tate Mansion in opening the gateway to prosperity. I guess every town has its haunted house. In Picayune, Mississippi, that was the old Tate Mansion on North Main Street. Throughout the 1950s and 60s, this abandoned and decaying mansion by the railroad tracks lured adventurous teens to explore its haunting mysteries. However, the scene on North Main in the early 1900s was a quite different environment. Around 1908, Eastman Francis Tate, a successful businessman and banker, built this imposing three-story Queen Anne Victorian home on North Main near the railroad tracks. The home was constructed of rough-cut gray stones and exuded a sense of strength and grandeur that eventually earned it the name Greystone Mansion. The Tate homestead featured a wraparound veranda that offered views of the road, the pond, and the adjacent railroad tracks. The steeply pitched roof featured large dormers with stained glass windows overlooking the Picayune landscape. A large pond on the south side of the home provided a serene reflection of the mansion for approaching visitors. The pond was stocked with several varieties of fish, and ducks waddled along the shoreline. A covered boathouse provided shelter for a couple of fishing boats for use by the family and guests. Eastman Francis Tate, considered the father of Picayune, was very proud of his town and his home. He wanted to provide an impressive image and therefore built his fine home beside the New Orleans and Northeastern Railroad, which ran passenger trains daily to and from New Orleans. The depot was located about a quarter-mile south of his home. New Orleans-bound visitors from around the nation and the world were able to glimpse his impressive estate as the trains arrived and departed the Picayune depot. The Tate's neighbors were folks who lived in a row of houses on the western side of North Main, commonly referred to as Tate Row. As owner and president of the Rosa Lumber Mill, Tate built Picayune's first subdivision along North Main Street, just opposite his own home. E.F. and his wife Minerva raised their 6 children in this home, and for many years the Tate Mansion was a center of community activity. The family hosted many gatherings, and the estate fostered a sense of community. Tate Mansion echoed with the laughter and activities of many relatives, friends, and influential guests. From a young age, Eastman Francis Tate was a major force in the development of Picayune. He was president of the Bank of Picayune and founded Picayune's first newspaper, the Picayune Item. He was the owner of Rosa Lumber Mill and served 2 terms as mayor of Picayune. Sadly, in 1933, at the age of 65, E.F. Tate died of a sudden heart attack. This was only a few months after the death of his beloved wife, Minerva. His absence was felt by many and left a great void in the city of Picayune. He left the home to his 6 children, and over the years, various family members occupied Tate Mansion. However, around 1952, the home was vacated when the last family member moved out. The old estate then fell into disrepair and neglect due to family disagreement on its fate. The old homestead remained vacant for some 16 years and eventually became known as the haunted Greystone Mansion of Picayune. Unfortunately, a devastating fire consumed the once proud estate in 1968, leaving only ashes and rubble in its place. Today, the empty lot remains overgrown and unkempt beside North Main Street, but the memories of E.F. Tate's pioneering spirit and the grandeur of his former mansion serve as a reminder of the vision and ambition that shaped the city of Picayune.
The march of time can change the personality and landscape of cities and towns in both positive and negative ways, and the city of Picayune is no exception to the effects that time can wield. Jim Luke's new book, Gateway to Picayune's Prosperity, highlights people and events which have contributed to the city's positive growth over many years. To accentuate the many stories, the book contains hundreds of photographs showing people and events which have led to Picayune's path to prosperity. The contents of this book give testimony to why, after all these years, Picayune remains a treasured coin in the purse of South Mississippi.